Okay, welcome everyone. As we are getting earlier and earlier in our learning, it's going to get earlier every week, and soon we'll be back to 8 o'clock that everybody loves. Well, not soon, but we're getting there. We're sponsored by A.B. Spry, the Refuah Shalema for Taiba Roiza Basinda, for great sivugim for their daughter and grandchildren. We're sponsored by Shalom Fogel, Lila Nishmas Yaakov Zeb Ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Sivya Miriam Bas Gad, Yosef Ben Tzim Ben Yaakov Zev, and for a great shidduch for Chayet Sivya Bas Shoshana Gittel. We're sponsored by Baruch Ian, who is good to see, Lili Nishmas Yaakov Chaim Ben Abba, Esther Bas Yona, Avram Ben Shmuel HaKoyin, and for L'Refuah Shalema of Liba Bas Anya. We're sponsored for the spiritual, emotional, and physical protection of Yeshua Menachem Mendel, Ben Bela Shendel Rivka. We're sponsored by Eddie Chazan for the safety of Klal Yisrael and the Atzlach of the IDF and their safety. We're sponsored by Menachem Yemansky for all those looking for a zivug. They should find it quickly and easily. We are holding towards the bottom of Lamed Aleph Amud Beis. So the Gemara says, Amar Shmuel, which is 8 lines from the bottom of Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis. Amar Shmuel, Kol hashrotzim yesh lahem eres. It's not only a snake that has venom. All of the creeping, crawling creatures, they also have venom. It's just that they don't kill. Shel nachish meimus, that of a snake is fatal. Shel shrotzim eina meimus, but of a sheretz is not fatal. Amalei Shmuel l'chir barav. Shmuel said to Chir barav. Of course, Shmuel had tremendous respect for Rav, the Gadol Adar. So he said, Bar Uriah, son of the Torah, because Rav represented the Torah. Tava emalach milsa mal yasa, come and let me tell you a wonderful thing. Dava Amar Rav Avuch, that Rav your father said. Hachi Amar Havuch, because the question is, Goyim that I'm not makbid on uncovered water, why don't they die? Hani armoi zavkoni, these fat Goyim. Davashasa giluya, they drink uncovered liquids, v'loy meisu. Aidi the achle shkatzim v'ramasim, since they eat the disgusting and creeping creatures close to the ground, chovel gufayu, their body has extra heat and it burns up the venom. Rav Yosef, as we start the top of Lamed Beis Amud Aleph, I already made a bracha on the water. Top line of Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. Top line of Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. Hay chala de shikra de arma. Vinegar produced from the beer of a guy, aser. Why? The me'arve durdaya diyayanesa, because they mix in it sediment of wine, which of course their wine is yayanesa. So therefore it's forbidden. Amar Rav Ashi umei oitzer shari. But if it's from a storage container, if the vinegar is from a storage container, then it's permitted. Why? Because Kavan the Ma'arvabe, if they mix in the sediment of the wine, it turns sour quickly. So that which is in the storage container, they won't mix in the sediment. Okay. We are holding, for those that are just joining us, Michal Avram, I see, just came in, Yisrael Fisher. We're starting at the 2 dots, 3 lines from the top of Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. V'cheres hadreini, This is Hadrianic cheres. The Goyim, when they go to battle, they want to have a boost. So they needed a canteen that kept wine. So what they would do is they would take new earthenware kalim and they would put wine in them until the wine would absorb into the walls of the kalim. Then they would break these pieces, and each soldier would take a piece, and when he needed it, he would soak it in water, and it would have the taste of wine. The wine would come out. Let's see, the Gemara explained this. The Cheres Hadraini, Hadrianic pottery, my Hadriani, Rabbi Yehuda Mishmul, Cheres Shel Hadrinus Keser. This was a patent of the Emperor Hadrian. And Kiyasa Rav Dima, when Rav Dima arrived, he explained the process. They wanted to produce very strong wine. So they found virgin soil that never was planted. So therefore, the vines that are planted on it would be very powerful, very potent vines. So they would find that no man ever worked. They planted it, they tilled it, vinota, and they planted it with vines. And they put this very powerful wine, this very potent wine, into gulpe chivre, into new white pottery. This means that it was never used before, so nothing was absorbed in it yet, and therefore it had a very strong absorption. Umaitzile, and it absorbed the chamrayu, and then umitperu, they would break these shards, mitperu l'chaspe, v'darobad. Hello?
Well,
we're on Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph, and we are holding 9 lines from the top. Umitperu l'chaspe, they would break the shards. V'darobadayu, they would take it in their battle gear. And when they reached the destination, Taralu, they would soak them in water. Vishasu, and the absorption of this powerful wine would come out, and they would drink it. The Gemara says this wine was so potent. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Rishain Shalanu, our first wine is Kishlishi Shalahen. Our first wine is only as strong as the third soaking. In other words, they would soak it once, they would soak it twice, they would soak it a third time, and that which came out from a third time was equal to our first wine. Now the question is, we know that the wine that comes out of these Hadrianic vessels is Yayin Nesach Chesas Bana. Can we take such a piece of pottery and use it as a coaster for our bed? Ibolu, mal lismoich behem karne hamita. Now here, you're not having any benefit from the yayin that's absorbed in it, but this is, the Gemara questions, since you're not supposed to want the further existence of idolatry. And here, since you're using this coaster that has wine inside it, indirectly you're showing that you're pleased with the continued existence of the Yayin Nesach inside the pottery. So that's the Gemara Shaila. Ibayelu, the Gemara inquires, Ma'u lismoich be'em kari amita, can you support the leg of a bed with such hadrianic pottery, roitze b'kiyumay al yedei davar acher, where you want the further existence of the absorbed wine, but only through the pottery it's contained in, is that shari or aser? Is that permitted or forbidden? What's the din? So it's machlokes. Tashmat, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yochanan. It's machlokes, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yochanan. Chad aser v'chad shari. One prohibits it, one permits it. V'hilchas command aser, and the halacha is like the one who permits it. We just had a rash of late arrivals. First of all, let me tell the Olam, we are trying to start earlier now. This week, start time will be 10 to 9. Hopefully next week will be at least 8:45. So we're working on getting earlier and earlier, because believe me, I know that the late hour has been very hard on people. We could start welcoming in people already. Irving Fishbaum, Shelley Zeitlin, Dr. Guy, Eddie Chazan, Jack Warman, Shalom Fogel, Baruch Ian, Yitzi Fuchs, Ben Cian Cohn, Yisrael Fisher, Saba, Mel Zachter, Ruvain Shanet, Menachem Yumansky, Michal Avram Chabin, Rich Kramer, Chaim Kramer, Marshall Castle, who was very missed last night. Marshall, a ganze 2-hour share. I don't know what happened to you. Dr. Block, Moshe Lehman, Berish Gessman, Nachman Chapler, Yitzi Muller, Ilya Schutman, A. Barbach, Avram Rezepkowitz, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg. We are holding, if you just joined us, midway down Lamed Beis Amud Aleph, midway down the Daf of Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. Beis Vei. Now these are vessels. Hadardurin are jars, varugbois, and bottles made out of leather, shel oivdei kachavim, and yayin shel Yisrael konos behen, and wine of a yid was put in them. Now, if you remember, we had a machlokes what the din was if the flavor goes into the wine, flavor of yayin esach, if it becomes aser even ba'ana, or flavor only makes it aser to drink. So the din is aser b'shtiya u'mutar ba'ana. This is stam like the chachamim that say flavor only asers it to drink, but it's permitted ba'ana. Heyed Shimon ben Guda lefnei benoi shel Rabbi Gamliel. Shimon ben Guda testified before the son of Rabbi Gamliel, al Rabbi Gamliel sheshasa mimenu ba'akai. Not only did he hold that it's permitted to benefit, but Rabbi Gamliel would drink from wine put in these bottles. However, even though Shimon ben Guda gave this testimony, Rabbi Gamliel's son did not accept it. Now, let me explain to you what would be the rationale to say that it's permitted even to drink it. The rationale would be is that we said that there's absorption in something where wine is stored for a long time. Small bottles and jugs, wine is not stored a long time, so there is an argument to say that there isn't even the absorption doesn't pass through to the Jewish wine that's in it, and it should be permitted even to drink. But the Gemara says, but there's the next din. Noidai shel oidei kechavim, skins of a guy. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Aimer Mishum Reb Yeshua ben Kifusai also lasses mem shtichin lechamar. You cannot take these skins and use it for a saddle on your donkey, fashion from it a saddle on your donkey. So you see here, it would be a raya that roitze b'kiyumay al yedei davar acher, because he wants the absorption in the skins, to continue by fashioning it into a saddle, and yet you see that it's mutter. Excuse me, and Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said you're not allowed to do it. So so that's a kasha on the Mandiyama that says that you're allowed to do it, you're allowed to use the Hadrianic vessel as a coaster under the bed because it's kiyumay al yedei davar achar. Says the Gemara l'tameich, according to you, kankanim shel oivdei kochavim litzeru lemizvan, earthenware jugs of idol worships, you should be forbidden to sell them, even to store in it marbles, even to store in it toys. So, but we know that we do sell it. As long as it's not to put in wine in it, we know that we sell it. Maishna noidos or maishna kankanim. What's the difference between the skins and the barrels? Rava says no. The skins, the reason why they prohibited to use it for a saddle is because we're afraid that your skin might spring a link and you'll take a piece of the saddle and patch it onto your skin, and then when you put in wine, it will absorb the yayin nesach in the skin. His flask might split, and he will remove a piece from the saddle and patch it on his flask. But now the Gemara says, according to the Mandiyama, that says that you cannot use the Hadrianic canteen as a coaster for the bed because you're showing that you're pleased with the further existence of the Ayin Nesach in the canteen. Then how are you allowed to sell the kankanim of a guy to store toys in it, to store marbles in it? Says the Gemara, you'll have to learn that the Hadrianic vessel has a lot of wine inside. I mean, they made it, they filled it up, and it was new vessels, and it had a lot of wine inside. A lot of wine that you cannot want its continued existence, even indirectly, by using it as a coaster. In a kankan, where there's only a little absorption, there they weren't makbid, and that's the Gemara's differentiation. There's over there by the kankanim, it's only some absorption. They filled it up and they waited until it absorbed a huge amount of wine. There, that is forbidden even indirectly.
Rabbi, so after you empty out the wine, then you could use the shard?
Correct.
Okay.
But they didn't agree with him. This means that they didn't agree that Rabbi Gamliel held that you could drink from the bottles and the jars. Ramini yayin haba b'rukbai shel oivdei kochavim, wine of a yid that's put in such bottles of a guy, asa b'shtiya mutabana, but Hayed Shimon ben Goda lefnei b'noisha Rabbi Gamliel al Rabbi Gamliel sheshasim mimenu ba'akai, that Rabbi Gamliel drank from it, because as we said, according to this, Rabbi Gamliel holds that since the wine of the guy isn't in the bottles for a long time, there isn't such an absorption. And here you see that they agreed with him. So the Gemara resolves this contradiction in two different ways. One way is, what does it mean that they didn't agree with him? Kol siyatai. Shimon ben Guda's Chaverim didn't agree with him. Aval B'nai Maidalei, but the son of Rabbi Gamliel did agree. Ibayasema, who didn't the son of Rabbi Gamliel accept it from? That's the first version that it was Shimon ben Guda. In the second version, it was Shimon ben Goda, and that he accepted. Ibayasema Guda l'chud v'Goda l'chud. You know, it's really nice to see that although we had a slow start tonight, we do have once again now 30 Zoomers joining us here this evening, which is nice. Marshall, we had last night 36. And, you know, who knows? If you would have been there, Marshall, you might have made it 37.
Still thirsty. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and then if Mark would have been there with 38, Aaron Swade would be 39. If Shalom Fogel would have been there last night, it would have been 40. I mean, you know.
I'm getting excited. This is getting good.
Yeah, this is getting good. Imagine if you would actually do something. Now.
Rabbi, question. Were we that poor that we had to rely on using these shards to prop up the beds? I mean, what's the thought process?
Well, what the thought process over here was a theoretical question.
Okay, that's.
Now, these theoretical questions could be applied in other situations which could be more complicated. You know, these Gemaras are used for application purposes. As we welcome in Dr. Udell for our 31st Zoomer of the evening. Dr. Udell, we're holding 2 lines from the bottom of Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. V'oreis levuvim. Now, they had a barbaric way of doing takruvas Avoda Zara. They would make a cut around the heart of the animal and rip out the heart alive and offer it to Avoda Zara, which would then make the remaining leftover animal takruvas Avoda Zara, and it would be asabana. So the oras levuvin, where the hide is cut around the heart, tan rabbanan ezel or lavuv. What does it mean, hide around the heart? Kol shekareya keneged alev. They tore it around the heart. V'koder kimin aruba. They made like a opening, like a skylight, and they ripped out the heart alive. So therefore, the only time it could be that it was offered for idolatry is yeshal of karedam, if there are some specks of blood around the cut, also, because that showed they pulled it out while it was alive. Anal of karedam, if there were no specks of blood, so that means they removed the heart after it died, that they don't do for idolatry, then it's mutter. However, that's only if the animal wasn't salted yet. But if they salted it yet, usher, because the salting could have removed the traces of blood. The salt could have removed the traces of the blood. Now, if it's a circular cut, it's usher. Moshach, if it's more of a rectangular cut, mutter, because they don't do that for idolatry. The law is like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Now the question is, does anybody argue with Rabbi Shimon Gamliel? The fact that you have to tell me halacha, does that mean that there's somebody that argues with Rabbi Shimon Gamliel? He says, what's the difference if somebody is arguing or not? I told you the halacha. So he says, no. Remember, this is Torah Shebal Peh. Every extra thing is an extra thing to remember. If there's no machlokes, I don't have to remember this teaching. Amalei, he said to him, Gemara, this is a tradition that has to be learned. Zemartate, is it merely a song? It's not a song. It's something that has to be remembered. And therefore, if there's machlokes, I will put it down to memory. If there's no machlokes, I don't have to remember it. Now, basar anichnas l'avodas gechav mutter, meat that a guy brought into his church, but you intercepted it before it was offered up, mutter. It's mutter b'ana. Obviously, it's mutter b'ana. It's not mutter b'achila because the guy killed it. Now, mantana, Rab Chia bar Abba, Rab Yechon, Doloi Rab Eliezer. This is not like Rab Elazar, because according to Rab Elazar, if the guy shechted it, stam shchit of a guy is Avoda Zara, then it would be also b'ana anyway. The Irik Rab Elazar, I'm stam achshav Avodas Kechavim, Avodas Kechavim. The stam achshav of a guy when he shechs is to idolatry, so then it would be forbidden just because he shechted it. Excuse me. Now, vayoytze aser, that which is taken out is forbidden b'hana, mipnei shu kizivchei mesim, because since he took it out, he definitely offered it to the Avoda Zara. So therefore, it's like zivchei mesim, and it's also b'hana. Now, my timer, because efshar deleket takruvas avodas kechavim. It's impossible that he didn't offer it to the idolatry. Now, that which we say that it's like the sacrifice of the dead, which means that it's metame ba'oil, that if it's under the same roof as a person, they become tameh. Mani Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseiri. It's Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseiri. The Tani Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseiri, Aimer, Minayin l'takruas avodas kechavim shemetame ba'oil. It's metame under the same roof. Shenema vayitzmadu Baal Pa'ar, they joined the idolatry of Baal Pa'ar, Vayoichlu Zivchei Mesim, and they ate sacrifices of the dead. Ba Meis Metame Ba'ayil, just like a mace is Metame Ba'ayil, after Kruvas Avodas Kechavim Metame Ba'ayil. Now, the Mishnah said, Ha'holchin l'tarfos, those that were traveling. Remember, tarfos means a place of shame. So those that were on a pilgrimage to a church, asurin laseis v'laseis iman. It's forbidden to do business with them because then they'll go and thank their God. Amar Shmuel, a guy that's going to his church, ba'alicha aser. On the way, it's aser. The aser l'moedei kamei avodas kechavim. Since he's going to the church, he's going to thank his deity that he did a good deal with the Jew, and you're not allowed to cause that. B'shem Elohim acherim lo yisaskiru. B'chazara muter. But on the return trip, you could do business because he's already finished. Might have what was. However, Rachmanu litzlan lo yaleinu, Yisrael ahoylech letarfes, a yid that's going to a church. He's a Nebuchadnezzar. He's a non-believer. Ba'alicha muter. On the way, you could do business with him because you could say that he's going to change his mind and not go. But b'chazara aser, on the way back, you can't do business. Because a yid, if he accepts a deity, he'll be serious about it. And if you do a good deal with him, he's going to go back and say thank you. It's a difference. A yid, he takes it seriously. Kavan the avik bay mehader hadar azal. He's going to go back. Says the Gemara, you said on the way there you could do business because he's going to change his mind. If he's going to a place of shame, going there or coming back, it's aser. Says the Gemara, that's a repeat offender. That's where he's already hooked. Ravashi kitan yehibi Yisrael mumer. Yisrael mumer. Since he goes there often, devade azal, then he's not going to change his mind. He's going to go, and therefore then you can't do business with him on the way there as well. Okay, Rabbi Isai, we will try. I say try, but tomorrow I'm going to be again broadcasting from Lakewood. I almost said Staten Island. I'll be broadcasting from Lakewood. I'll be going in again. So we're going to try very hard to start at 10:02 so that we get used to starting earlier and earlier and make it easier and easier for people. As always, we're looking for sponsors, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. And now we'll do the Mishnah Yomis.